A very good morning to all of you. It is with great pleasure that we are here with you today with another very special episode of the Expert Diaries 2021 by the Future Marketers Association, the one and only student organization of the marketing undergraduates of University of Kelaniya. Those of you who have been with us throughout this series knows that we always bring you the best in the industry, motivators, achievers, and individuals that people look up to. So today we have with us a very special personality. He is a top professional with over 20 years extensive cross-industry experience in consumer electronics, industrial products, stationery industry, FMCG, commodity training, industrial refrigeration and air conditioning, marketing, and general management at senior level, locally and globally. He received his Bachelor of Honors in Marketing from University of Sri Jayawardhanapura and Masters in Financial Economics from University of Colombo. He also has a postgraduate diploma in Business and Financial Management from Chartered Accountants Sri Lanka. He is currently working as the Group Executive Director of CW Mackey PLC Group of Companies and Managing Director at Kalani Valley Canneries Limited. He also serves as the Managing Director of Sanskrit Lanka Private Limited and Sanskrit Lanka Properties Private Limited. He has served on several national level project committees and judging panels. He was an executive committee of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing Management, Marketing for three years, and he was the founder project chairperson of Slim Nielsen People's Awards. He's a visiting lecturer at postgraduate studies in management at University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, University of Kelaniya, and University of Colombo. Let me warmly welcome our guest for the day, Mr. Mangala Pereira, to Expert Diaries 2021.
Good morning, Sonali.
Yeah. Good morning. Since we have a very tight schedule, we will straight away go to the first question we have for you. How would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, well, Sonali, if I give you a technical answer based on my academic and professional background, I must say that I'm a professional marketer or a business economist. But otherwise, I can simply introduce myself as a corporate professional.
Yes. And then the next question we have is I know this is a very vague question, but what is the story behind your successful career journey?
Okay. I believe we have two eyes for a purpose. One eye is to see the present and the real situation today. The other one is to look at the future. You see, if I summarize some of the reasons for my successful career achievement, the one is I always try to see one or two steps ahead when we analyze the issue. I think one of the significant feature I always, as a leader, I follow that. The other one is I can claim I'm a good listener. I listen to the others. Then from there, we can gather a lot of information. We can analyze the problems. And like that, there are so many advantages out of that. Therefore, you have to be a good listener that will help you to achieve your career achievements. The other one is I firmly believe the team culture, right? You have to work as a team. And also sometimes you need to think in a different way. You see, when you are working at an organization, they have their own cultures, but are you going to challenge that culture? That is the way of thinking different way. I mean, those are some of the reasons for me to achieve my career targets. There are so many, there are some of them.
Exactly. So we know that you play different positions in different organizations. So how do you prioritize your tasks when you play different roles in your career life?
Okay, that's a very good question, Sonali. You see, the basis for the prioritizing is the business interest. I'm a corporate professional. I always go through the business interest, evaluate that one. Therefore, as you said in your introduction, I work as a group executive director of the CW Mackey PLC, which is very old company with 120 years history, and we do a lot of exports. We are somewhat diversified. Therefore, there my role is, when it comes to the FMCG, we do the brand management, the brand share. Those are the business priorities or the bottom line. When you go to the commodity trading, that is a completely different sector. Then our priority is basically volume sales because we work with the thin margins. Go to the export trading. Their priority is the maintaining, the managing the position. You see, forward selling and forward buying. Likewise, the basis for the prioritizing is the business interest. In addition to that, you can see, I can say, the top line or the bottom line, the market share, HR needs, depending on the business interest, you have to avoid the role conflict, because when you play the different roles, you have to avoid the role conflicts. Therefore, to give a direct answer to your question, the basis of prioritizing is the business interest.
That's a very clear answer as well. Next one, tell us about some of your significant achievements that makes you feel proud as a winning individual.
Yeah, so for me, the success is not an entitlement. You have to earn that. You have to work towards that. If I summarize a couple of achievements, you see, my secondary and tertiary education, also one of some of the things I can proud about myself. The other one is, you see, in my early 30s, I got a cross post into Australia, where I got a very big exposure to the other markets, like developed market like Australia, New Zealand, and the developing markets or underdeveloped markets like Fiji, Papua New Guinea, American Samoa, Western Samoa, Tonga, Vanuatu. I got an opportunity to work in these markets with a very good brands. Therefore, some of my brands I was able to make as a model markets for the other markets, right? That is another significant achievement in my career. The other one is basically I was able to enter into the sports administration in this country. I hold a position of the president of the Mercantile Sports Association for a 2-year period. That is another achievement. And as you previously said in your introduction, I was the founder chairman of Slim Nielsen People's Award. I only introduced that, and previously it was something else. I rebranded it, and that is another achievement. The most important thing for me is I was able to get into the main board of a public listed company in my 30s. I believe that is one of as an executive director. That is one of my main achievements.
So the next question we have is, what measures do you take to control your current and your ideal work balance?
You see, I never mix up my professional life with my family life. I always try to allocate the quality time for my family, my wife and 2 children. That's a simple answer to that question.
Exactly. All right. So then next we have is, what leadership qualities do you think you have, and how do you nurture them to fit into an irreplaceable role in your company?
Personally, I'm a firm believer of the team culture. I'm a team player. This is the part of my career that I enjoy the most. You know, when we work with a team, the different people come with the different talents. They have their own talents, because you and I don't know everything. Because we have to learn from others. We have to share with others. Take the younger generation or the Y generation. They are tech savvy people. They are a couple of miles ahead to us. Therefore, we can learn from them. When we work as a team, these people will bring all different talents to the table. As a leader, you have to identify those things. Once you identify that this is your responsibility as a leader, you need to leverage those things to get the maximum output to the organization. That is one of the key leadership qualities which I practice. The other one is the number-based task-oriented performance. It is not X, Y, Z, or white or black, short or tall, right? It's basically a result-oriented, performance-based, task-oriented the culture. And the other thing, I think I can convince people. Convincing is a passion of my life. I mean, I can convince people to get it done. The things like those are the key things, key leadership qualities, and also I believe the knowledge worker. Therefore, skill development, continuous development, training, those things I encourage people to go for that.
A true leader indeed. So the next question is, tell us about some of the toughest challenges that you had to face in your career, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, Okay, I will summarize it to two sectors. One is the implementing of organizational structural changes. That is one of the toughest challenge I face, because when you going to change certain things people don't like. So managing a change is a really challenge. Therefore, the strategy was, you asked how did I manage? The convincing with the numbers is the methodology, the strategy which I use to succeed that sort of a project. The other one is the external, working with the external macroeconomic factors. The COVID as an example. Those are real challenges. Today's exchange rate, you see, we as an import company or export company or manufacturing company, we need to bring some raw materials down to the country. Today's exchange rate is almost 200 rupees to the USD, the 240 to euro, right? We never expected those things, which is completely beyond our control. Those are real challenges, right? Therefore, if I summarize, one is the organizational changes, other one is the fighting with the external macroeconomic factors and adjusting our processes to overcome certain challenges.
Exactly. I think we have a few questions regarding the COVID-19 challenge as well.
Okay.
So the next question would be, in a brief essence, how has CW Mackey PLC contributed to the nation as a responsible corporate citizen?
Okay, well, that's a good question. Our company CW Mackey PLC established in 1900. It's 120 years ago, right? It is listed company in the Colombo Stock Exchange. The listed company, we have to publish our monthly accounts, quarterly accounts, the CSC on a regular basis. And also our shares are trading on a daily basis in the share market. Therefore, we are very, very transparent. Then if I summarize, CW Mackey is into the exports. In that way, we bring the export earnings to the country and contribute to the Sri Lankan economy. That is your question. The second one, we have basically 6 or 7 factories, starting from water to fruit juice to rubber manufacturing, rubber-based products, jams, cordial, and all these things, Unquick. Therefore, we do value-added manufacturing here. We do branded manufacturing here. That is from the manufacturing side. Export, manufacturing, other thing is the imports. We represent all 3 sectors, economic sectors like export, manufacturing, value-added manufacturing, and imports, and contribute into the economy as a responsible corporate citizen. In that process, we were able to create so many job opportunities, both direct and indirect, to the labor force in the country. And now we are moving to the agriculture, the production and the exports as well, with a different arrangement. We are not going to cultivate, but we do encourage people to go for the outgrower system. We secure the market, and after that we will process and sell locally and internationally.
Right. So we're getting now to the COVID-19 situation. I think this is one of the toughest challenges that most of our companies are facing. Not most, maybe all companies are facing. So how have you aligned your organization to sustain the negative impacts of this challenge? And what are the strategies that you have taken to adopt to the new normal?
Okay, it's a good question. Senal, you see, if I summarize the answer to 2 words, is assessing and forecasting. Once you get into that sort of a situation, you need to assess the impact, right, which we have done. And we are talking about the virtual, online, working from home. All these are good. We are doing that, right? But can we run a factory from home? You need human intervention. Can we run our logistics centers, loading, unloading, delivering from home? No, you can't do that. You need people. Therefore, what we did during this session, we have analyzed and assessed the impact, right? Then to mitigate that impact, what are the strategies we have to implement? Then what we did was, basically we have done a solid COVID response plan to protect our staff. We know that people have to come to work. They have to run the machines in the factory. They have to do the deliveries and the logistics in our logistic complexes. Therefore, we have given our utmost priority to protect our people. That was the strategy number 1. Number 2, we assess the impact and work backwards. Then what is the worst case scenario? Because from 20th March onwards to mid-May, all factories were closed. But we have to pay salaries. We have to pay electricity bills and all other utility bills. Then how are we going to manage that? What is the impact to the cash flow, working capital? Recoveries were very bad. Because with this sort of a situation, people definitely will get impact with their income. Some people might lose their jobs. Some people might, will not get full income. So that has a direct impact to their total income and the disposable income. Once their disposable income get affected, their consumer behavior patterns will change. They can't buy the same thing they used to buy. Therefore, then we assess all these things, then decide, yes, we cannot catch up this lost sale during the rest of the year. We knew that. We really assessed that. Then what we did was we worked backwards and adjust our systems and the processes. We initiated basically a business re-engineering process to increase our cash flow levels, right? Working capital requirements, utilize the working capital in an effective way, speed up the collections, and cut down the certain costs. That means not salary or not other benefits of the employees. I'm telling you personally, we never cut the salary of our staff. None of our staff lose their jobs. All these people are there. Therefore, we realign our processes to manage the cost. I'm happy to say that this strategy really worked for us today. And we are in line with our profit budgets, not the turnover budgets. We know that there's a consumption drop and the sales drop, but we never compromise our bottom line. And with that, we were able to give sort of an increment to our staff last year, right? Not a increment what we used to give previous years, but some sort of increment. And most importantly, we have given 2 bonuses. Therefore, I mean, that clearly shows that we were able to manage this situation. Those are the strategies we adopted. Yeah.
Exactly. Happy employees means a successful company. Indeed. Yeah. Yes. All right. So the next question we have is, how does your company foster employee motivation, and how do you keep them motivated effectively?
Basically, in our group, we implement 2 strategies. One is the monetary, and the other one is the non-monetary, the motivation tools. Non-monetary means basically recognizing and rewarding them. That is the most important thing for the staff. Then that gives a sort of a confidence for them to do more, and job security and the career advancement, all this, that's an indication. Therefore, non-monetary the evaluation and motivational tools we implemented and we use to motivate the people in our organization. The other one is the monetary motivations. I will give a classic example. In our group, basically we have introduced a very unique bonus scheme to our staff, right? That is, whatever the SBU you work for, if they achieve the budgeted profits, out of that budget, 10% we allocate for the staff, right? Our profit budget, right? PBT, profit before tax, that budget. Then we don't want to do any hidden things because we are a listed company. Our the accounts are published on a quarterly basis. That was a very transparent thing. Anybody can access to that and see that. Even a manual worker can see that. Or he can ask somebody to go to the web and see, right? If these people are telling lies. Then out of that 10%, we divide it by the total salary of that division and determine the ratio. It's a very transparent thing. Sometimes our people will go up to 5 to 4 months bonuses for working for 12 months. That is a monetary sort of a motivation. Therefore, we balance the strike between both non-monetary as a monetary motivational tools to motivate our people.
Right. So with that, we have come to our last question. What message could you care to give to our undergraduates who are willingly waiting to brand themselves in the corporate world as you are?
Okay, I can give a very simple and clear message. People are talking about entrepreneurship, punctuality. Yes, all these are correct. Today, my message to the undergrads is certainly very clear. You see, when you start to work for an organization, you think that organization is yours. You think that is your company. You are working for your own company. For example, if you're at home and if you see a sort of a there is a light in the daytime, you go and switch off it. Then you have to take the same ownership in your organization as well, right? Therefore, my message is very clear. When you start to work, you think that is your own organization. Work like that, take the full ownership. I think you will get the definite return back.
Yes. So with that, we have come to the end of our Expert Diaries 2021. So on behalf of the Department of Marketing Management, I would like to thank Mr. Mangala Pereira for being with us today. It is a great honor to have with us such a personality as you are. So thank you once again. So to everyone else, we will meet you again with another episode of the Expert Diaries. Thank you and stay safe and stay responsible.
Very much, Anali. Thank you.